Hi, welcome to Living Holland channel, and you're watching part 2 of the ride to Punta Allen, the off-road ride of 54 kilometers over a very muddy road filled with potholes. Here we are on that amazing bridge that somehow popped up on the route, and we will take you after the bridge. We actually were thinking that we were pretty close to Punta Allen, but the opposite was true. It still was a long ride. I think the bridge is not even halfway, so we still had a long way to go. And because of the rain that fell earlier that morning, the road was in very bad condition, and because it was our first off-road and a real test for me and the bike, riding off-road for such a long period of time over such a bad road. It doesn't look very bad here, but in a previous video and later on you can see it took a long time. It took a long time to get there. I was not feeling very confident riding this road, and most of the road we did in first, second gear. Some parts like here we could do third gear, but I mean here in areas like this and even worse you already have to shift back to second gear. So it took forever to get to Punta Allen, which created kind of a time problem later on in the afternoon, because we thought we would have more time, but like I said, it was a practice. How would the BMW behave, but most of all, how would I handle roads like this? And I must say, I don't like it. I mean, it's fun to do, but I prefer asphalt. I'm more of a comfort rider, and this kind of stuff and deep puddles and in unknown terrain for me is not a challenge. It actually makes me not very secure. Although I must say the BMW G 310 GS is an amazing bike to do this. I was very comfortable, and the bike felt very good to ride this, much better than the Kawasaki Dominar. I used to ride on this kind of terrain in the Philippines, so yeah, I build up more confidence, but still it's outside my comfort zone, and I really don't like riding roads like this. It's not my preference, but well, I guess it's part of riding in Mexico and going to remote places, and I have to get used to it. Because it's such a long ride, I cut the video short in some areas and I speeded it up in some areas, so you can see most of the stretches of the road and get an impression of how that road is to Punta Allen. If you visit my website floatingcoconut.net or livingholland.com if you're a Dutch viewer, I will provide you with a link to download this ride. So if you are in Mexico and you have a motorcycle and you want to do this, or by car, you can download the file and upload it to your GPS. It took a while, like I said, many hours before we got to Punta Allen, and when we got there, the first impression of the town was that like it was flooded. I forgot to film it because I was in shock because of all the water, but we parked the bikes at a restaurant, and we walked through the rest of the village just to get a quick impression. And it has an amazing little church close to the seaside. I mean, the village is literally on the beach, and it must be such fun to live there, although there's nothing. I mean, nothing's happening there. It's just this very quiet, sleepy little village with unpaved roads that were in the entrance like a lake. There was no pavement. And because you don't know the road, you don't know what's in the water was very muddy. That's kind of scary thing to do. But look at this church. I mean, if I were going to this church, I would not hear much of the sermon. I would just be amazed by this view every Sunday again, I guess. Isn't it beautiful? Just God's own creation. The town itself, it was more a village. The village itself did not have much to offer. There are tours going there, we understood, and there is a restaurant near the sea. They have a square and a basketball field, stuff like that. They even had a statue. There's electricity, but there's no cell phone reach. You have to use the local Wi-Fi that the restaurant or the local houses provide. So it's very, very remote. It's on the end of a peninsula, and after this there's nothing. This is the end. And between this village and Tulum is this long stretch you saw in video number 1 and in the beginning of this video that you have to ride. But look at these views. I mean, wow. To have the sea at your feet. It gave me a feeling of being back in the Philippines, where beaches are like this, and most of the resorts and the restaurants are, that's the whole stretch. You can see the peninsula going there. But most of the beaches and resorts in the Philippines are like that, and beaches are very accessible and used for fishing. Unfortunately, we couldn't stay very long here. Like I said, it took a long time to get there, and we had to get back before dark, because you know how it is in the tropics. Around 7:30 somebody flips a light switch in the sky and it's getting dark, and this road has no street lights, nothing, and it's so remote. We didn't want to get stuck there, so we really had to hurry getting back and get out of this nature preserve before nightfall, because not being very comfortable riding this road, I really didn't want to ride this in the darkness. I mean, that is absolutely not something I was willing to do. So we really had to go back and find our way out of this park. So with that pressure, I know it's a pressure you put on yourself riding this road. The thing is, if you are in the wrong rhythm of the potholes, it's very hard to get out of the potholes. So then it's like bumpy, 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 bumpy before you find a way out of the potholes. And I realized that when we started riding this road, and with the pressure and everything, riding faster than we did coming in, I sometimes lost concentration. I mean, I'm also getting tired, and sometimes I'm just bumping through all the potholes, somehow in my mind not able, as you can see here, to avoid the majority of them and find a path between the potholes. Adding to that, noticing the sun going down and down and down, and as you can see, it's not as bright anymore. The sun really is going down, and that also gives you the feeling that you really have to hurry if you want to get out there before the dark. And it was like, well, in the end it was a 2-hour drive, but when we started it took us 3 hours. We did it faster on the way back because we speeded up a little more, and also because the water was gone in most parts. The road was dry. I think that's one of the good things of riding on roads like this, is that the water sinks in very fast and the roads get dry. So there were less water-filled potholes on the way back, and that made it easier to speed up and to go to get home very, very fast. I mean, I really halfway I was like, we're never going to make it out of there before dark. Another thing is, we don't like riding in the dark in Mexico. A lot of people tell us not to, and to be home before nightfall because of highway robberies and stuff like that. So we were not very comfortable doing this. We just have the bikes. We still have to build up road experience and a Mexican driving experience. and we have no clue if those stories are true or not. So all that stuff is in the back of your mind when you kind of rush out of this park and head home. I mean, Tulum, Cancun is a 2-hour drive as well, 2.5 hours. So yeah, we really felt the pressure here. But as you can see, the road is much better condition than it was when we were heading for Punta Allen, when there was still a lot of water, but still the potholes, well, you can see for yourself. And I'm just not very good at this. I must admit, I'm not very good at this. I will get better. I will need some more practice, and the bike is amazing, like I said, so yeah, I will get better, definitely. So I've speeded up the last 2 clips of this road because it takes forever and ever, and it's getting darker and darker. The sun is going lower, and we still have to do the hotel zone. And but in the end, we made it. Finally, the highway, and we weren't even that late. Look at this. Well, we'll still be riding in the dark between Playa del Carmen and Cancun, but this is. I was so relieved when we got out of Tulum on the highway and it was still light. I really was not looking forward to doing that unpaved road in the darkness. So yeah, so happy we made it, and I'm proud of myself. I did 54 kilometers off-road back and forth, so that's 108 kilometers off-road on my fairly new bike. and I just got a lot more experience, I tell you that. I'm very proud of myself, really. This day was a day full of contrast because we did this kind of roads and we did city and a busy hotel zone and we did the off-road. But this is my comfort zone. I love riding highways. I made a promise to myself I will not do the quota in Mexico, and you know that's where you pay for the ride, for the road use. I want to do federal highways because I want to pass through villages and towns, but I like this. I like the speed, I like the freedom that comes with it, and I just love participating in more high speed than I do with all the potholes and the unpaved stuff. This is riding for me. Well, here we are, Playa del Carmen in rush hour, and it's dark. So we didn't make it to Cancun before nightfall. We didn't have the fantasy about making that ever, because we knew from Tulum we still had a long ride to go. The highway in Playa del Carmen during rush hour is no fun, so we decided to take a break at Starbucks and have a drink and some cookies to tide us over to dinner, and do the highway after rush hour. The last part of the trip I did not take a video footage because it's riding in pitch black darkness and there's simply nothing to see. I want to thank you for watching. I mean, it was a fun day to ride. Like I said before, if you visit the website floatingcoconut.net, or if you're a Dutch speaker and you want to read in Dutch, leavingholland.com, you go to the category of motorcycle rides and you find this road trip. The links are in the text below the video. You will find these road trips, and you can even download the trip if you want to ride it yourself when you are in Mexico. You can also find on that page where I linked to for downloading um, road trips, you can also find road trips in the Philippines to download. So we will be updating that page on a regular basis, and road trips will be added if we think they're worthwhile or fun to ride. I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank all the new followers that joined the channel. Thank you so much for traveling with me, and I hope I see you next time. The next video will be, I think, a road trip to Valladolid and to visit the old town there, which actually was a fun ride as well. So I will be preparing that video shortly. If you're new, you haven't subscribed, please do so, and hit the bell sign and don't miss out. Thank you for watching.